Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum brothers and sisters, and welcome to Little Mourners. I'm your host, Alvia Zaidi. And now today we'll be talking about the 4th of Muharaam, and more specifically we'll be talking about On and Muhammad. On and Muhammad are Bibi Zainab alayhi salam's two boys and her children. So to join me today we have Sister Samia and Sister Sani. They'll be joining in with several stories and with few facts and information about On and Muhammad and their part in the Battle of Karbala. And as I said previously, On and Muhammad are Bibi Zainab alayhi salam's children, and they really wanted to fight in the Battle of Karbala, but Imam Hussein alayhi salam was very reluctant, and so was Bibi Zainab alayhi salam, to let them go. But it was all for Islam, and with the story coming up, we'll explain what they did previously before the Battle of Karbala, and also how they survived, and also what happened in the Battle of Karbala between these two boys, On and Muhammad. So to start off our story about the specified topic about On and Muhammad, Sister Sani will share with us the beginning of the story, then Sister Samia will continue, and then I'll finish off the rest. But to start off, Sister Sani will share it with us.
On and Muhammad, Surah Al-Fatiha. Our majlis continue. Inshallah, our eyes will shed more tears for the martyrs of Karbala. We will do more matam and matam Hussein. Hussein Karbala Matam Majlis. When these words echo from the walls of our mosque, a lady in black hijab joins us. She is Bibi Fatima. She watches us, she cries with us, she collects our tears. Cry, 1 years old. Tonight is the night of these two children, On and Muhammad. First, let us send our greetings to those mothers of Karbala who sacrificed their children for Islam. Lucky for those mothers of Karbala whose children willingly and happily sacrificed their young lives for Islam. Tonight, let us first comfort those mothers of Karbala who were proud to sacrifice their children for Islam. Mother of Karbala, mother of On, Muhammad, Bibi Zainab, mother of Qasim, Farva, mother of Ali Akbar, Layla, mother of Asghar, Rabab. Mothers of Karbala were proud of their children. They loved their children, of course. Like any mother, they had the heart of a mother. A mother loves her children the most. Why then did the mothers of Karbala let their children die in Karbala? They knew Hussein was on the right path. They knew their sacrifices would help save Islam and us from the fire of hell. Mothers of Karbala squashed their motherly love and sacrificed their children for Hussein, for Islam. How can we, the Husseini, ever forget those mothers of Karbala? Why shouldn't we cry and do matam for the mothers of Karbala and their children, On, Muhammad, Qasim, Ali Akbar and Ali Asghar? Majlis-e-Karbala will never die. Matam-e-Karbala will never die. Yazids of yesterday have failed to stop it. Yazids of today will not be able to stop it. Yazids of tomorrow may try thousands of times to crush it, but Majlis-e-Hussein, Matam-e-Karbala will not die. Allah Himself has promised to keep the name of Hussein alive till the day of judgment. Let us now focus our minds in Karbala. Days and nights of Muharaam unfolded on the day of Karbala. The night of the 9th of Muharaam came, Ashura night, a very tragic night, the last night of the martyrs of Karbala. No one in Hussein's camp slept on Ashura night. Men spent the whole night praying, reciting du'as and the Holy Quran. Mothers of Karbala were preparing their children. The next day was Ashura day, the day of the Battle of Karbala. What were the mothers telling their children? to be careful, to hide and save their lives? No. They were telling their children to sacrifice their life. They were telling them to die. Didn't they love their children? Or course they did. They had the heart of a mother. They were proud of their children. They loved their children very much. Then why were they telling their children to sacrifice their lives, to die? Because they knew Hussein was on the right path. Because the sacrifice would save Islam. Because Allah would be pleased with them. Now let us listen to what the mother of Karbala were telling their children on the right of Ashura.
MashaAllah, thank you very much, and thank you very much for sharing that first section of the story and beginning to explain about the children of Karbala and the mothers of Karbala. And now we'll just continue with the part that Sister Samia has for us, and this part is more about talking about Ona Muhammad and their part in the Battle of Karbala.
La ilaha is with her son Ali Akbar. My darling son Ali Akbar, tomorrow is the day of the battle. My son Ali Akbar, remember your life is not more important than the life of your father. Your father's life will be in danger tomorrow, my darling. Don't hesitate to give your life to protect your father's life. Ummi Rabab is with her baby Ali Asghar. My baby Asghar, I wish you were a young man. I would have sacrificed your life to save your father's life. Ummi Fawwa is with her son Qasim. Qasim, my son, my darling, if your father was alive today, he would have sacrificed his life. My darling, don't embarrass me in front of your father on the day of the judgment. Qasim, my son, do not hesitate to sacrifice your life to protect your uncle's life. Ummi Kalthum, Imam Hussein's sister, was sitting alone weeping. Abbas, her brother, heard her crying. He came to her tent. Abbas, tomorrow is a sacrifice. I have no children to sacrifice. My sister Kalthum, don't cry. Abbas is still alive. Tomorrow I will sacrifice my life as a gift on your behalf. I will be your sacrifice. Bibi Zainab is with her two sons, Owen and Muhammad. My sons Owen and Muhammad, tomorrow is the day of battle. Your uncle Hussein's life will be in danger. My darlings, if anything happens to Uncle Hussein while you're still alive, I will be filled with shame. My own and Muhammad, I will not be able to face your grandmother Bibi Fatima on the day of judgment. Please, my dearest sons, don't let me down. Be the first ones to sacrifice your lives. Shura came. Ali Akbar gave the Adhan. Imam Hussein led to Fajr prayers. The day was already very hot. The battle began. Imam Hussein, army of 32 thirsty and hungry men against 20,000 of Yazid's men. Hur went to the battlefield and was martyred by Yazid's beasts. One by one, Hussein's companions went to the battlefield and were killed. Since down Bibi Zainab was watching the bodies being brought to the tent one by one, she called her sons Owen and Muhammad. My sons, what are you waiting for? Why have you not been to the battlefield yet? Go and fight the enemies of Islam. Mother, since dawn we have been to Uncle Hussein's many times for permission to fight. He kept refusing us. Mother, you help us ask Uncle Hussein to give us permission to fight Jihad.
MashaAllah, thank you very much, and thank you very much for sharing the second half of that story. And now to continue on and finish off the story, I have the rest of it here, and this is just going to finish off the information about Ona Muhammad and explaining about how they got permission to fight in the Battle of Karbala and also what happened. So, Bibi Zainab called her brother Hussein to her tent. Brother Hussein, I have been like a mother to you, haven't I? Hussein, your mother is begging you to let Ona Muhammad go to the battlefield. Zainab, my sister, fighting is not wajib on children. How can I let my sister's sons be killed while I am still alive? No, Zainab, no. Hussein, my brother, if Ali Akbar dies before Ona Muhammad, how will I be able to face our mother on the day of judgment? My brother, I will be filled with shame. Please, brother, let them go. Hussein saw the disappointment on Bibi Zainab alayhi salam's face. Her eyes were filled with tears. Hussein put his arms around Ona Muhammad and led them to their horses. He kissed them and helped them mount their horses. Go and show these beastly men that you have the blood of Jafar and Ali in your veins. Ona Muhammad looked at their mother and said, Khuda Hafiz, mother. Bismillah, my sons, Bibi Zainab replied. Ona Muhammad rode out onto the battlefield. They fought bravely together. They were the grandsons of Jafar and Ali. They pushed the enemies back. Hundreds of Yazid's men were killed. Abbas and Hussein watched the two brothers fight so fiercely despite being thirsty for 3 days. Abbas, who had trained Ona Muhammad in the art of sword fighting, was filled with pride. Saad, Yazid's commander, got worried. He ordered his soldiers to separate the two brothers and attack them from all sides. Ona Muhammad was separated. Each one of them was surrounded by Yazid's soldiers. The two brothers were attacked by horsemen running from one side to another. Ona Muhammad were attacked with arrows, swords, spears, and daggers from all sides. How much can 2 young children, thirsty and hungry for 3 days, take? As they fell, they called out for their uncle. Uncle, come quickly. Uncle, come and help us. Hussein and Abbas rushed to the battlefield. The children were severely wounded. They were taking their last breaths. Uncle, give our salam to our mother. Uncle, please tell our mother that just as she had told us, we did not go towards the river. Imam Hussein and Abbas carried the 2 young bodies to the tent. Ali Akbar cried out, My brothers, Ona Muhammad have been killed. Zainab heard the cry from her tent. She did not cry. She laid her musla and performed sajda. Ya Allah, I thank you for accepting my sacrifice. Ya Allah, I am proud of my 2 sons who have given their lives for Islam, said Bibi Zainab. Ona Muhammad's bodies were laid on the floor. Ladies gathered round and they cried and they did martyrdom. So that's just the ending of the story of Ona Muhammad, and it just explains about Ona Muhammad's part in the Battle of Karbala and what they did and how they sacrificed their lives for Islam. And now we're going to move on to another story that Sister Sani and Sister Samia are sharing, and Sister Sani will start it off for us, and this is about Ona Muhammad.
Ona and Muhammad were the sons of Bibi Zainab, and they were quite young, aged 10 and 9 years respectively. They had learned the art of fencing from their uncle, Abbas the Brave. When devote after devote fought and fell in defense of the Holy Family, Ona and Muhammad felt that it was now their turn to go to the battlefield. They went to their mother Zainab to ask for her blessing. Ona and Muhammad assured their mother that they would fight with such bravery that whenever she thought of them, she would remember how brave they were. Zainab went to her brother to request him and said, Hussein at the Battle of Siffin, Abbas, was only 10 years old. When he said something trying to attack you, he rushed into the battlefield and killed the man. Do you remember how proud our father Ali was? Today I too want to be proud of my sons. I want to see them go out there and defend Islam. Will you not allow me that privilege? Imam Hussein stood there in silence. He looked at his sister. He saw the disappointment on her face and tears forming around her eyes. Then said, "My beloved sister, you have never asked me for anything before. How can I say no to you now?" He turned to On and Muhammad and said, "Go, my sons, be brave. I should join you soon on your journey to the heavens." Bibi Zainab held them close and kissed them goodbye. The boys raised their hands and said, "Fi amanillah, mother." Bibi Zainab replied, "Bismillah, my son. God be with you."
MashaAllah, thank you very much, and thank you very much for sharing that story with us. So that was just some information about On and Muhammad, the sons of Bibi Zainab alayhi salam. And now Sister Samia is going to continue the rest of the story for us.
The two boys rode out into the battlefield. They fought bravely. At one point, Omar, son of Saad, asked, "Who are these younger stars?" "And they fight like I have seen Ali, son of Ubaydab, fight." When he was told who they were, he ordered his soldiers to give up single combats and surrounded and killed the boys. On and Muhammad were attacked from all sides. Imam Hussein, Abbas and Qasim stood by Zainab, and as she watched her sons fighting, hardly a few minutes had passed when one fell from his horse and shouted for Imam Hussein. Just as the moment, another cry was heard. At this time from Muhammad. Abbas left Qasim with Zainab while he ran to the battlefield. Imam Hussein carried the body of one while Abbas carried Muhammad. Imam Hussein walked to Zainab's tent. He found her in sajda praying, "Oh my God, I thank you for accepting my sacrifice. My heart is filled with pride because my two sons have given their life for your religion." Bibi Zainab came to the two bodies of her sons and, addressing them, said, "My dear children, now I am pleased with you that you have proved your worth and laid down your life for true, and please God and His holy prophet."
MashaAllah, thank you very much. And thank you very much for sharing that story with us. So that was just finishing off the story, and that was explaining more about On and Muhammad and their part in Karbala and what they did and how they sacrificed their lives for Islam. So that concludes today's show about the 4th of Muharaam and about On and Muhammad. And we've been sharing information about On and Muhammad, and after the break, if you stay tuned, we'll be doing some craft to represent and be relevant towards the children of Karbala. So stay tuned after the break. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, and welcome back to Little Mourners. I'm your host, Alvia Zaidi. And now, welcome back after the break. Let me just reintroduce our guests. So we have Sister Samia and Sister Sani. And today we'll be doing a craft segment, and our craft segment is related to our topic, the 4th of Muharaam. And more specifically, we were talking about On and Muhammad. Now Ona Muhammad were children of Karbala who died in battle, and to represent these children of Karbala who sacrificed their lives for Islam, we are going to be making a cradle. Now this cradle is to represent all the children, and is also to represent about the children who sacrificed their lives, and also all from ages, like all different ages, like Ali Asghar all the way up to Ali Akbar, who even though was 18 years old, he was still a child, as his mother was present too, and he was still a child. So this is to represent all the children of Karbala. Now to make this cradle is really simple, and all you'll need is a small strip of paper, so quite long but a small width, and you can have it as long as you want. This is about the average size to make a loop about this big, but you can make it longer to make a longer loop, or you can make it shorter to have a shorter loop. So it's all about how you want to have it, and we've chosen to use blue card, but you can try it with material, or you can use paper, and you can use different colours, and it just depends on how you want to make this. We are going to use this square piece of paper, and this is to represent the stand, so that it can stand up by itself. But if your cradle, when you make it, stands up by itself in the first place, then you don't need the small square paper. And then you need some sellotape to stick it all together, so that you can sellotape all the ends together and sellotape it so it holds together. And this section here, which has two slits, so a slit like that, and then exactly the same on the other side, a slit here. Now my guests have exactly the same materials, and they're just going to get started as they already know what to do. And the first thing you need to do, this oval shape has been cut out of an A4 piece of card, but you can use a smaller oval shape, or you could use a bigger one or a small one, depending on the size of your cradle that you want to use. Now also you could use a circle, and if you were to use a circle, it would create a circle cradle instead of the length one that we have here. And if you were to use a circle, you would only need one slit to hold it together. So what you're first off going to do is just try and get the right size of the cradle. So the first thing you're going to do is take these slits, and you have one side and another side, and you're just going to overlap it so it twists up. So if I show you what's happening on the coloured side, it twists up so it creates a point here. And if you look closely, you can see this overlapping fold here, so it's a flap just there. And you're going to sellotape this down, but before you sellotape, you want to find out the shape that you want your cradle. So it's going to be a bit tricky, so if you are finding it a bit difficult, then you can just ask someone for help, so preferably an adult, and basically you can just pinch it together to form a cradle shape, like so. So you can fold them over a lot to make it a bigger loop, or a small amount to make it a smaller loop. So this is all about how you want to create it. So the first thing you're going to do is take a small piece of sellotape and hold it onto your finger, and then you fold them over and you just tape it in the place you want it. So I'm going to have it about medium size, and you just tape on the inside fold so that the tape is hidden. So you just stick it down, so as you can see it's stuck here, so it's hidden away, so the tape does not come on the outside. And then you just get another piece. If it's not strong enough, you can keep adding pieces onto your little loop. And then what you're going to do is you're just going to add one on the top, because you need to keep it secure. So you just add one straight piece across the top of the fold. And then you got one side done. So as you can see, the little pinch in the middle. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take the other side and do exactly the same thing. So you're just going to pinch it together and match it up, and you can make it as big a loop or as small as you want it. And then you're just going to tape that. And then what you're going to do is, as you can see, my guests are busy doing that. and you just tape it down again. And if you're finding this bit difficult, then you can just ask somebody for help, and I'm sure they'll be glad to help you. And it can be a bit tricky to fold it over, so don't be afraid to ask for help. And you just tape down, you continue to tape down, and then as you see, you can create this kind of V-shaped cradle, and it has a fold in the bottom. So the next part is to test if this stands up. So if it does stand up by itself, which it doesn't, which mine doesn't, but if it doesn't stand up by itself, then you use this small piece of paper, the same colour as your cradle, and you're just going to attach it on by using a loop of sellotape. So you just take a small piece of sellotape and you stick it onto your cradle around the middle of the end, and you fold it back, so make sure it's hanging, and then you stick it on to your piece of card. So you just have to make sure that it's stuck on, and then you can now see it's up on one side, but you're going to need to just get the other side done so that it'll stay up all together. So you just get the other side and you stick it in between, and again it can be quite difficult, so take your time to make sure that you're doing it right. And then just push it in so it can stay, and as you can see, you have a stand there at the bottom, and you can just test if it stands up, and it does. So you have a little stand, but of course the stand isn't necessary, so you just have the little stand there. And if you don't want the stand, then you don't have to make this part, but it just helps it when you're going to put it onto the table, if you want to put it on the table, and it just helps with stability of your cradle. Now the next part is to get your strip of paper, and what you're going to do is you're going to measure how big you want the loop. So from the inside, as you can see, I've put it in there to cover up the folds, and you put it in, and then you loop it over the other side by the fold, and then that's how big my loop is. But of course you can make it shorter or bigger to create the loop. So that's the loop, and then what you want to do is just sellotape one side down, because if that's wrong, then you can adjust it through the other side. So I'm just going to sellotape the one side down. If I could just grab the sellotape, thank you, and then just take a small piece, because if you do want to take it off, then it won't be too damaging, and you just stick it onto one side, inside and of the cradle, and keep adding pieces of paper and pieces of sellotape to make sure it's stable. And as you can see, that my guests are almost getting there. And then once it's added on one side, you can just loop it over and attach it into the middle of the inside. So you just keep adding pieces of sellotape until you're happy with the stability and also how the cradle has been made, and also change it around to how you want it. And then once it's all sellotaped in, it's done. So you have your little loop where you can hold it, and then you have the little cradle, and for the inside of your cradle you could put in pieces of tissue paper, or you could put in anything that you want to fill it up. And this is to represent the children of Karbala and to represent their sacrifice of their lives for Islam. And it can stand neatly on the table, and change it around to how you want it. and there we go. So you've got your cradle, and that's to represent the children of Karbala. And I believe my guests have finished theirs. So Sister Samia, if you'd like to show us yours. MashaAllah, I think that looks amazing. And Sister Sani, if you'd like to show us yours. MashaAllah, that looks really good. So thank you very much for watching, and I hope you now know how to make a simple cradle. And thank you very much for watching previously before the break. So I hope you now have an understanding about the 4th of Muharaam, and more specifically Honor Muhammad, the sons of Bibi Zainab alayhi salam. I'd like to say thank you very much Sister Samia, and thank you very much Sister Sani for coming along today and joining in with the show of the 4th of Muharaam and joining in with today's craft. So thank you very much for watching, and this was Little Mourners. I'm your host Alvia Zaidi. Khuda.